Once upon a time, in a far-off kingdom, there lived a beautiful young girl named Cinderella. Her mother had passed away when she was just a child, and her father had remarried a cold, cruel woman who had 2 daughters of her own. Cinderella's stepmother and stepsisters were jealous of her kindness and beauty, and they treated her like a servant in her own home. From dawn to dusk, Cinderella was forced to cook, clean, and tend to every whim of her She slept in a tiny, cold attic room, with only a few mice and birds as her friends. Despite the hardships, Cinderella never lost her gentle spirit or her hope for a better life. One day, a royal proclamation was issued throughout the land. The king was hosting a grand ball at the palace, and every eligible maiden was invited to attend. The prince would choose his bride from among the guests. Cinderella's stepsisters were beside themselves with excitement, dreaming of becoming princesses. Cinderella longed to go to the ball, too. She had found her mother's old gown in the attic, and worked tirelessly to mend it. But on the night of the ball, her stepmother forbade her from attending. As Cinderella watched her stepfamily leave in their fine clothes, she burst into tears. Her dreams of a magical evening shattered. Just when all seemed lost, a shimmering light appeared in the garden. It was Cinderella's fairy godmother, who had come to grant her heart's desire. With a wave of her wand, she transformed a pumpkin into a magnificent golden carriage, mice into horses, a rat into a coachman, and lizards into footmen. Then, with a flick of her wand, the fairy godmother transformed Cinderella's ragged dress into a breathtaking ball gown of silk and lace. On her feet appeared delicate glass slippers, more beautiful than any shoe ever seen. Cinderella was overjoyed, but the fairy godmother warned her that the spell would only last until midnight. Cinderella arrived at the palace, captivating everyone with her grace and beauty. The prince was immediately drawn to her, and they danced the night away, lost in each other's eyes. Cinderella was so caught up in the magic of the moment that she almost forgot her fairy godmother's warning. As the clock began to strike midnight, Cinderella fled from the ball. Losing one of her glass slippers on the palace steps, the prince tried to follow her, but by the time he reached the palace gates, she had vanished into the night. All that remained was the delicate glass slipper. Determined to find the mysterious girl who had stolen his heart, the prince declared that he would marry the maiden whose foot fit perfectly into the glass slipper. His royal messengers traveled throughout the kingdom, trying the slipper on every eligible young woman. When they arrived at Cinderella's house, her stepsisters tried desperately to squeeze their feet into the tiny slipper, but to no avail. Cinderella, who had been locked in the attic by her stepmother, managed to escape and asked to try on the slipper. To everyone's amazement, the glass slipper fit Cinderella's foot perfectly. The prince, who had accompanied his messengers, recognized her immediately as the beautiful girl from the ball. He dropped to one knee and asked for her hand in marriage. Cinderella forgave her stepmother and stepsisters for their cruelty, and invited them to live in the palace with her. Her kindness touched their hearts, and they mended their ways. Cinderella and the prince were married in a grand ceremony, and the kingdom rejoiced. As they stood on the palace balcony, waving to the cheering crowds below, Cinderella's heart swelled with happiness. She had never lost faith in her dreams, and now they had come true in the most magical way. The prince took her hand and smiled, knowing he had found not just a beautiful bride, but a compassionate and strong partner to rule by his side. From that day forward, Cinderella and the prince lived happily ever after. Their love story became a legend throughout the land, inspiring generations to believe in the power of kindness, perseverance, and the magic of true love. Years passed, and Cinderella proved to be not just a beloved princess, but a wise and just ruler. She never forgot her humble beginnings, and worked tirelessly to improve the lives of all the people in the kingdom, especially those who were less fortunate. She established schools for orphan children, ensuring they received the education and care she had been denied in her youth. She created programs to help the poor and hungry, remembering the days when she had to scrounge for scraps in her own home. The prince, inspired by Cinderella's compassion, became a more empathetic ruler. Together, they transformed their kingdom into a place of prosperity and happiness for all. Their love deepened with each passing year, growing stronger as they faced the challenges of ruling a kingdom side by side. Cinderella's stepmother and stepsisters, touched by her forgiveness and generosity, became her staunchest supporters. They dedicated themselves to charitable works, striving to make amends for their past cruelty. The family that had once been torn apart by jealousy and resentment was now united in love and purpose. As Cinderella and the prince grew older, they were blessed with children of their own. Cinderella was a loving and attentive mother, determined to give her children the warmth and affection she had missed in her own childhood. She taught them the values of kindness, humility, and the importance of treating all people with respect, regardless of their station in life. The story of Cinderella's rise from a mistreated servant to a beloved queen became a cherished tale throughout the kingdom. Parents told it to their children as a bedtime story, emphasizing the power of maintaining hope in the face of adversity and the importance of remaining true to oneself. Cinderella never forgot the magical night that had changed her life, or the fairy godmother who had made it possible. Though she never saw her magical benefactor again, she kept the remaining glass slipper as a treasured memento, a reminder of the night her dreams came true. As the years passed, Cinderella and her prince grew old together, their love as strong as ever. They watched with pride as their children grew into kind and just rulers, ready to carry on their legacy of compassion and fairness. And so, the tale of Cinderella became more than just a story of a magical ball and a glass slipper. It became a testament to the enduring power of kindness, the strength found in forgiveness, and the transformative nature of love. In the end, it was not the magic that made Cinderella extraordinary, but her unwavering spirit and her ability to see the good in others, even those who had wronged her. The kingdom flourished under their reign, and the people lived happily ever after, inspired by the example set by their beloved Cinderella and her prince. And though their story became legend, passed down through generations, the truth of their love and the magic of that fateful night never faded, remaining forever in the hearts of all who heard it.